Okay. There's no sound now. I can't hear you.
That should solve all your problems.
Okay, you're good. I can hear you.
All right. I should get some kind of a map of the cosmos in the background or something.
We'll Photoshop that in later. It's all right. No, we're just going to use your audio from this one.
It's on? Yep.
We started recording. Yeah, I didn't give you the count, but yeah, 3, 2, 1.
All right.
You're on. And
all right. 3. About us, sex, and money. I don't refer to myself any longer in terms of how many times I've been around the sun, but in terms of experience. Like education and its references to degrees, only marks expenses and how many old men and women you've listened to who earnestly believe that they, through reading other people's books, attending listening sessions that I call seminars with others like them, will qualify them to impart useless information to students who will only Google the quiz questions anyway. Ever since I can remember, money has been jammed down my throat. I needed to make it, spend it, invest it, and save it to get what I wanted in life. Money is the air beneath my magic carpet ride through life that assures me a safe and smooth landing when my participation in the science of economics diminishes to where I become a collector of funds that I have so prudently stashed away for use by others who also take a piece for their knowledge and effort in growing themselves, and me, to a lesser degree, to be rich. As is always the case of any money I do not spend before I die, it will evaporate anyway, the same as that in a bank account that I do not use. The all-seeing government will take it for the greater good and the safety of the people. Lately, I've had quite intimate dealings with the world's richest people and have failed to be impressed. They spend a great deal of time talking about the others who, as stupid as they are, do not deserve the privilege of being among the elite, all whom of which have witnessed their command of funds that originated from the poor who got what they deserved. It's quite useless to speak openly about it, lest I arouse the ire of them that don't give a fuck about a rolling donut as long as they, who are trained, get to keep doing what they will do anyway. Experts turn me off. They utilize their claim as title to ownership of anything they can get their hands on, including the time of day that it takes me to listen to their rantings. I am therefore not prone in the supine or lateral position to admire what they feed to the public with any respect, which they see as the building blocks of society to be protected at all costs, be upheld as would be their supreme being, who is, at best, a derivative of an imaginary being. It is an attitude of my own that has sentenced me to disregard these blackguards, but not without feeling their punishment for doing so in a decrease in my sense of stability in my own pilfered life. Having given up on the promised benefits of their way of thinking, I have declined any interest in them, for I know it is mere discourse, not enacted in my favor. I am nothing in their world but a bother and a non-participant, so much so that I am unreported news, forbidden public access to influence anyone in a stream that is quite all right without me, they say. I expect that any day now I will acquire the title of quackery, and if I am silent enough, will be left with my taxes and fees, which entitle me to sit down, shut up, and keep my feet off the furniture. It is with all of this blood spilled upon the page that I have been compelled to create my own world in which I live. My new world I call Nibiru, in respect to the space creatures that through their experimentation with ape humanoids and superior knowledge of genetic engineering have created laborers we now call humans. This gives me all the reason I need to dismiss such nonsense as all men are created equal and God, as derived from the Sumerian recorded presence of as many as 600 gods known as Anunnaki, or those space beings, aka aliens, who are and were everything we are and were not, thus gods, to, in their interest, allow us overnight to acquire a written language, agriculture, mathematics, and the wheel, among other things, and to speed our evolution and lead us to acclaim them and their ways, so we will be fruitful and multiply like rats. Nibiru is a fantasy world, a virtual world, accessible to and by our imagination with the help of information technology. There we have a chance to recreate a remote world from a much higher plateau than the one from which we were supposedly created in the first place, which is to say, primordial ooze, the soup from which we were learned how to crawl onto dry land, and which concept we were taught to be mindful of in the Darwinian claim that, as is commonly said, we came from monkeys, which is to my satisfaction, but not true in the biblical narrative. It is equally, if not surpassingly so, to believe us as being created by some all-seeing, all-knowing God that espouses whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but shall have life everlasting. Or was that the resurrected one, the second time around guy? But believe me, believe it or not, we are people who shall never have life everlasting like the Anunnaki. We shall not have heaven. Hell we already know as the underworld, or South Africa, which is known for its gold reserves, and where people with black hair still do what they were designed to do, which is to say dig gold, so the aliens can take it back safely to their own planet and save it from demise. This backed by gold phenomena, with its accumulation and materialism edge, has programmed us all to serve the gods, or aliens, who come by every 3,600 years or so to collect what they need and play with us as a cat plays with a mouse. Then they leave us in ruins to see to ourselves as a result. Thanks for stopping by. That is all the justification one needs to excuse the lack of concern for their lessers with whom they co-evolve. This is, and there is not, a savior among us. Endowed as beasts still, we fight war, we overpopulate, we even fight the natural progression that weeds us out by sloughing off the less worthy, useless eaters and keeping us all in check, lest we give in to our baser instincts and mount a mass slaughter of those somewhat like us. So in utilizing modern technology, numbers, as our new primordial ooze, we now have a chance to imagine a world in which we would rather live and incubate there before applying our learnings to the reformation of a world needless of a flood or an Armageddon, lakes of fire, whips, bullets, nuclear weapons, and subsequent economic ruin. This has to be some leftover or inadvertent residual of a not-so-perfect creator who utilized their creation of us as slaves, laborers, and soldiers. Distractions these are, if we are capable of an ye shall be as gods eventuality. Your immortal soul is only the animating force making you live. Remember, energy is neither created nor destroyed, as in the laws of thermodynamics. Racism is real, and inbreeding is about as helpful as tits on a boar hog, as the saying goes. With all the trash we have accumulated, it is better to succumb to Nietzsche, who had a more superior understanding than those who deal with public perception and meddling on a planet that is revealed in Planet of the Apes, more so than it does in It's a Wonderful Life. Aliens who landed in Mesopotamia and populated other regions globally built pyramids, ziggurats, and such to direct spacecraft and to serve other recreational purposes. Apparently, they also chose Earthlings to fornicate with, leading to the usual claims of superiority, remember where you came from, and if amounts of alien genomes is ample, once we were endowed with the capability of reproduction, there is proof of superiority. Semites there in the region and other nearby chosen peoples like Aryans set the stage for justification of urges, conflicts, ethnic cleansings, and protection of artifacts that recall days of yore, and endowments suited to claims and conflicts we have today, including mass indoctrination and the justifications of mixed blood, from hybrids to the return of mongrelization. These mysteries, now debunked, have loosed the claims of a fantastic, twisted legacy that we struggle with to forget, even to the point of announcing that God is dead, and we have gleefully killed him. This also introduces the sensible edict to revalue all values. We are on a different road than we were previously, when tidbits were given to us, primitive creatures, who now are enabled through the efforts of Nibiru 600 to create a world in our own image. Only the chosen ones, the technicians, coders, programmers, mechanics, and intellectual superiors have the ability to translate a new beginning into a new reality. Mathematically, in that perfection, we select the components that solve the equations written anew. We introduce a perfect virtual world as much as we can today. It's all been programmed into us. The lab is open for your application. Tell us why and how you can contribute to the formation of a newer, better, and more perfect virtual world before it becomes a reality for us all and we shuck the old ways en masse, which are not working so well anyway. Plus, no great loss, and better than that, world predestined to be consumed by fire. Not a desirable future, to be destined to eventual conflagration. No self-fulfilling prophecies, thank you. Fate may be altered, but let's rewrite our destiny. The world's most fantastic, futuristic, enjoyable laboratory where we say when it is ready, as something other than an experiment, but something tried and true, with every conceivable, imaginable, workable solution tried in context, with every ecological feature in sustainability and conservation. We are ready to launch the next, the more perfect virtual world. We are the chosen ones. We choose, not them.
Great.
I learned how to control that cough impulse during this reading.
Okay.
Just don't clear my throat, and it just sits there like a glob.
Oh.
So anyway,